Hello, my name is Clarissa Morawski and I'm the CEO and co-founder of the Reloop platform. I am delighted to tell you that today we are releasing our Global Deposit Book 2022. So I've prepared this short PowerPoint presentation to walk you through the book, and let's go to it. So over the years, the Reloop platform has published the Global Deposit Book, which effectively reports on every single global deposit program that exists today. And here in the table of contents, you will see all the different programs that we have featured in our book, but also something that's new this year is a section that provides you with all the upcoming programs and any information that we have on those programs. There's about 12 here that are coming up. Most of them are in Europe that we have information on that is very, very relevant. Each program has a 2-page spread with information that is highly detailed. Everything from legislation to the scope of the packaging covered, the size of the packaging, the deposit values provided in the local currency, but also in euro cents and American cents, as well as handling fees, and very interestingly, producer fees. These are effectively extended producer responsibility fees that are charged to the producers for every unit they put on the market. And you can see that these fees are extremely interesting and in some cases quite low when you compare them to EPR fees for non-deposit programs. We also have a section on the material flow, which also shows you the data flow and the money flow. We have information on the system operators, how unredeemed deposits are being used, the collection model, as well as performance. So there's a lot of information in every single program where we were able to get the information. It's all here in the book. And when we look at deposit return programs over the last few decades, you can see that they started really in the 70s in Canada and in America, where we saw a lot of programs being introduced with the introduction of single-use packaging because of the motive to fight litter. And as we moved into the 1990s, we started to see even more expansion across Canada. And into the 2000s, the biggest program in the world, which was Germany in 2003, then we saw the introduction in Netherlands, and of course in my own home province of Ontario, where I was at the time, the introduction of deposit return on all wine and spirit containers in Ontario. Moving into the 2000s, later on, we saw Australia. There was a lot of progress in Australia coming online. And then finally, coming into 2020 and beyond, this year alone, we saw the introduction of a program in Slovakia, Latvia, Malta, and we're going to see a couple of regions introducing a cup deposit system in South Korea. And we have a number of countries coming on in the future that I'll show you in a second. So a lot of development on the global deposit front. Here you can see moving into the future that by the end of 2026, at least 70 jurisdictions across the planet, representing just shy of 800 million people, will have deposit return systems for single-use beverage packaging. And it includes big countries, like here you can see Turkey being introduced. That's a larger country than Germany is. We also have countries like Poland coming up in the future, big countries, got about 37 million people in Poland, and Austria, New Zealand, and I even have here in our timeline both Spain and France, where they have legislation in place that says that if those countries do not meet a certain separate collection for recycling target by a certain year, they will have to automatically introduce a deposit system. And I can tell you, we've been tracking the performance in Spain and France, and they are not even close to meeting those interim targets. So we expect that by 2026, those countries will be in place as well. And they're large. Spain has about 46 million, and France has about 65 million. So that's an extra 100 million people on board in Europe. This is what it looks like from a graphical perspective, and you can see that it's almost a doubling of population covered by deposit return by the time we hit 2026. So what's behind this growing global momentum towards DRS? Well, we can certainly see that in blue are the European non-deposit countries and the recycling rates for the different container types compared to the deposit countries in orange. And you can see that there's a drastic difference between the two. This is what it looks like in Europe today. But as I said, we are going to see more and more programs being introduced And in Europe, the deposit rate on average is 90% return. These are the winners, let's just say. Germany hits the top at 98, followed by Finland and Denmark. This is what it looks like at a global level. The yellow clump of countries at the beginning is Europe. They are higher than most in terms of performance. The middle clump is North America, and the back clump, the orange countries, is Oceania. So you can see that Europe definitely leads the group. But one of the main benefits of deposit return systems, one that cannot be accomplished without them, is litter reduction. And attaching a monetary value to beverage containers in the form of a refundable deposit decreases the likelihood that they will be littered in the environment, and consumers will be motivated to return them for recycling and claim their refund. This is, as I said, why we introduced deposits in North America in the first place. The argument still holds true more than ever now. We know that deposit return systems support 90+% collection for recycling, high quality material, and that is the only way that we can truly achieve circular beverage packaging. We also say that deposit return on single-use containers is the gateway to more refillables. This is our butterfly graphic, which shows you both deposit return satisfying the recycling loop, closed loop recycling, but also the same infrastructure can support the reuse loop, cleaning and refilling bottles. So it is a beautiful harmonized system that can cater to both single use and refillables. What are the influencing factors for performance? Well, clearly, the higher the deposit, the higher the return. Here you can see, based on the stats that we have, we start with a lower deposit at the top, which renders you sort of in the high 60s maybe. As we move to 15 American cents or more, we're talking about getting close to 90%, actually around 93% is what you can get from a more than 15-cent refund. So that's very important, but also convenience is, of course, key. We've looked at the return to retail countries versus the depot countries or the hybrid models that we see a lot in America. And you can clearly see that return to retail systems are the ones that are achieving the 90% plus, whereas in the hybrid / depot, we're getting at about an average of about 69%. So thank you very much for listening to this presentation. We hope you visit our website at reloopplatform.org for more information on deposit return, or simply to download a copy of this fantastic Global Deposit Book 2022. Thank you very much.